Welcome to Ask and Learn.
We are going to sketch the graph of the function defined by pods like this: x squared if x is greater than or equal to -1 and less than or equal to 0, and 2x minus 3 2 minus 3x if x is greater than 0 and less than or equal to 1. That is a piecewise function with two pods, one for the interval -1, 0, including both -1 and 0, and the other from 0 to 1, excluding 0 but including 1. The first part is a parabola x squared, the second part is a straight line 2 minus 3x. And when we do that graph by hand, we will use it to find the absolute and local maximum and minimum values of the function. So the domain of this function, as we see here, is -1, 1 closed interval. And we have two parts, so we have to draw each part of the function. The first part is a parabola x squared, but between -1 and 0, including -1 and including 0. So we have this coordinate system here. At -1, x squared is 1, so we get this point on the parabola. It's included in the graph. And at 0, we get x squared is equal to 0. So we have this point here. In fact, I have forgotten to put here this y-axis. Okay, so we have 2 points and we know the parabola is something like this, without this thing here, but that's the idea. So that's the parabola. The other part is a straight line. We can work with some transformation of the identity, but because this is a line, we know it's sufficient to draw 2 points and join them. So in the case 0 were included in the formula, we'll have 2, but it's not included, but we know the value should be 2. So we have this, we draw this circle without fill to indicate the point is not included in the graph, and then we have the straight line between that point and another point we can choose is when x equal 1. We get 2 minus 3 times 1 is 2 minus 3, which is -1. So at 1, the function has this value -1. And this value is included in the graph, so I indicate it with this filled red circle. So we are ready to draw the line. We are going to use this here, and this line is more or less this steep. I can tune it here now. So we have this point connected with this other point, so we get to rotate a little bit and we are almost there. And then we okay, a little bit, let's see, like this. Okay, we are almost here. Let's see, something like that. Okay, here we are. So this is the graph of the function by piecewise function with two parts, with two pieces, and we can say this is a discontinuous function at 0, for example. But let's see the properties about the extrema. First, we can see we have an absolute minimum here at this point. This is the slowest point in the graph. It's included in the graph because it's the image of 1 here, which uses this formula here, and the corresponding value is -1. So we can say that f has an absolute minimum value. The value is -1 and that value occurs at x equal plus 1. Now for the local minimum, absolute minimum, and for the local minimum, in fact, there is one here. We can say that this value here, 0 at 0, is a local minimum because if we take any interval, or at least this interval I drawn here, around 0, all the images are greater than the image at 0, which is 0. That is, all the images that are positive that we can see. Some of them are on the line and the others on the parabola, but all those images are greater than or equal to the image at 0. So 0 is local minimum. So f has a local and is the only one with this property in the graph. So has a local minimum value 0 at x equals 0. Okay, with respect to the maximum value, there is no absolute maximum because the highest point should be this point, but it's not included in the graph. So the function is always taking greatest values closer and closer to the point to 0 or 0 to, sorry, but it's not, it never reaches that value. So there is no absolute maximum. F has no absolute maximum. Respect to local maximum, uh, there there's there's no local maximum either because we have in all the points we'll always have taking any interval around the point we always have images that are greater or lower than the point. So there are no local maximum. So no absolute or local maximum values. So this is these are the properties of this function defined by two pieces.